Hi everyone, Dr. Lauren here with Healing Touch Chiropractic, and welcome to my constipation workshop. We are going to be talking about poop for the next 15 to 20 minutes, so let's dive in. All right, so first thing is that if constipation were to, you have to take more fiber, or you have to drink more water, or you have to take this or that supplement, if it were that easy, then people wouldn't still be dealing with it on a daily basis. And it's not necessarily just kids. We're seeing constipation issues in adults as well. So we are seeing bloating, again, in both kids and adults, discomfort from that, of course, which leads to then irritability. It can also be leading to poor sleep and anxiety around the fact that something isn't working the way that it should be, but you don't have an answer on how to make it work like it should. So today, I want to shift how we think about constipation because your body isn't broken, it is responding to something. And once we understand what it's responding to, we can find the solution to help. Because many people define constipation as, hard poops, or they don't poop all the time, or they poop but they don't feel relief from the poop, like they don't get it all out. Okay? But constipation is absolutely a communication issue within the nervous system. Because as you guys know, we talk about it all the time here, your brain has to send communication through your nerves, and in this case, the nerves to the digestive system. And if that communication is disrupted or slowed down, or honestly just cut off from whatever may do that, then that whole process of digestion is going to slow down, if not stop. And I'm going to talk about kind of more of the why that's happening and again, how we can get out of it. So I want you to stop asking yourself, what can I take to make myself go more? I want you to start asking yourself, why am I not going more? And why is my body not doing what it should? So I'm going to talk about what we see often for kids and adults. So I'm going to start with kids. So one of the biggest things that we see with kids is them actually refusing to poop because it's hurt in the past and they're scared of it now. Then that comes with stress around it because, as a parent or caregiver, that can be incredibly frustrating. And not necessarily just for the cleanup of a mess that may have been had, but you notice that the kid is being more irritable or they're not eating like they should, like their behaviors change because of it. And then there is stress created around going, and that's not super fun for a child or the caregiver. We also see that they're sitting a ton in schools. There's also way more screen time that doesn't necessarily allow for them to move throughout the day, like when we were in school. One of the biggest things is more processed foods. We are absolutely in a society right now where it's more of a quick grab and go type of lifestyle that many people are living. And so there's many more processed foods that are being consumed, as well as other fluids for hydration that are not actually as hydrating. So many Gatorades and Powerades are being kind of pushed into like, this is where you should hydrate, this is how you should hydrate. And it's really not hydrating at all. It's practically a juice, and sodas are being pushed more, and it's just not as hydrating as water. And kids aren't drinking as much water. It can even come from literally just the stress of birth. We've seen plenty of newborns who are dealing with constipation issues, and they just drink formula or breast milk at this point. Like, there is no processed foods in that process. It's just that their body hasn't had a chance to transition out of a stress state yet, which is why chiropractic in newborns is so important, but we'll come to that later. For adults, We see, honestly, it's just like the go, go, go. People are rushing everywhere. People are not taking the time to just be and relax, which is leading to chronic stress. It is leading to hormonal changes, poor sleep, and a huge reliance on coffee, laxatives, and supplements. We hear often, like, well, as soon as I have my cup of coffee in the morning, I'm going. It's like clockwork. And I'm glad that your poop is indeed coming out, but we should not be having the body rely on that, because if your body isn't functioning without that, it's not quite functioning the way that it should be. So all of that to say, many people are actually stuck in the fight or flight state. And your body can't rest and digest when it's in the fight or flight state. Those are two separate functions of the nervous system. So if people are always stuck over here in the fight or flight state, but this is where digestion happens, you're never going to get it to work the way that it should be. So that is a huge thing that we do here with our HRV scan. I have it right here. This guy tells us so much about where the body's adaptability is at and whether someone is indeed stuck in that fight or flight state. And if they are way over to the left on that scan, then the rest and digest is way over here. And you're going to have to overcome a lot just to get your body to function in the way that it needs to. So we need to get people off of that gas pedal, which I think I say in almost every workshop that I've done so far, is that this fight or flight state where most people are is a big, big issue with where the body's functions are at. So if there's interference in the nervous system, again, whether it's from mental stress, whether it's from physical stress, whether it's from emotions that have not been addressed, it all is going to affect not just digestion, it's going to affect every single function that the body does, whether we know about it or not. That's the beautiful thing about digestion, is that it typically just does it, and we don't have to be like, hey, push my food through so that I can poop it out on the other end. No, it just does it for us, which we're so grateful for. But until we start to pay attention to maybe that's not happening the way that it should be, we're also not going to be able to know that there's something that needs to be fixed. So we also need to start taking time to slow down and listen to what our body is saying. Because like I said at the beginning, in the case of digestion and constipation, the body's responding to something. But if you're not there to pay attention to the way that it responds, you're not going to take any action to change anything. So let's talk about what most people are told to do when they're constipated. It is more fiber, more water, stool softeners, and laxatives. Now, while those all may be kind of a kickstart if someone's like really, really backed up, it gets things out because it's not great that they're stuck in there by any means. But those cannot be a long-term solution. In the sense with many, many things, if you do it long enough, the tolerance that your body has is just going to keep increasing, which means that the more that you're going to have to take just keeps increasing, which is not helping anything. So, again, instead of asking, what do I need to take to make myself go more, we're going to ask ourselves, why is our body not functioning the way that it needs to? That's where we come in. So, first, some things that you can do at home. I mean, I've said it a million times. you need to take time to just be. You need to be able to sit and let the stresses of the day stay where they were. Do not bring the stresses home if you can. You can. You have to choose to want to be present in the moment. I mean, I know I'm not perfect. I definitely take stress home. I definitely work past 7 p.m. sometimes. But that's going to be a time where my body's not going to be resting and digesting as well as it should be. So, step number 1, be present. Step number 2 is drink more water. Like I said, it's not even just kids. So many people are choosing other things to drink throughout the day, whether it's coffee or energy drinks or, flavored juices like Gatorades, Powerades, whatever other things are out there these days. We need water. Okay. And then another thing that's going to be really great that, again, many people don't do because we're in the rush of life. But before you eat, to just sit, again, kind of push the stress away. Try to get your body to flip into the parasympathetic nervous system so that when you are eating, your digestive tract is actually functioning right then and there. Again, it's kind of all about time, making the time for yourself, which is in turn making time for your body, and, drinking more water, which is great for every part of your body. So movement is also a huge, huge part of it. So whether this is a small child, we're often told in kids who can't quite move yet that the bicycle kicks with their legs is good movement because it's movement that they at least can have. We're not gonna be able to shake a kid. I mean, that's not gonna work. Leg movements, bicycle kicks will be good. Then when they start crawling and they start moving, that is oftentimes where parents see a bigger change because they're able to move themselves and they like truly want to move. So they're just always on the go. And then once they get into a more structured like classroom setting, things may start to shift back. So even though, there's stages of life where people are way more mobile than certain other times of life, chiropractic is the one thing that can always stay the constant. And so even with people who are super active, they're training for marathons. We're in marathon season right now here in Fargo. During that time, things are probably functioning differently for people. But then as soon as training may stop or slow down, things are going to change again. So that is a huge phase of movement where the body is adapting to versus a phase of less movement, if not no movement, depending on the level of person that's training for said marathon. So chiropractic care is here for all of it. I mean, you guys hear about runners who actually have a bowel movement in the middle of a run because that type of movement absolutely gets things moving. It's like proof that movement is a big part of how to get your bowels to function. And again, we're in a society where people just aren't moving nearly as much because work requires them to just kind of be in a space, or school requires kids to just be in their chairs for most of the day. So, chiropractic. Let's talk about it a little bit more. So, specifically here at Healing Touch, chiropractic care is not about cracking backs or essentially just making pain disappear. We obviously focus on making sure that people feel better so they can live their best life. But our focus is how is the body functioning? And if you come in with constipation issues, then yes, that will be something that you are probably noticing on your time. And we're also asking questions all the time. But if your digestion starts to function better, that means that every other part of your body is probably functioning better. So it's a whole body thing. And we're not necessarily forcing it to do anything. We're just creating the environment for things to communicate clearer within the body to provide the best function that it can. And if you guys have been following us, or if you are patients here, you know that we can do definitely hardcore manual adjustments, but that we can also do way less hardcore adjustments with our integrator. And I'm going to show you guys what the coolness of this is because, I mean, oftentimes people get this and the activator very confused, right? But the cool thing about this is that the way that it's created is that every person at every point that we provide an adjustment with this gets a personalized adjustment because we actually set this. And once it matches the tone of the body, which is going to be different for everyone in every spot, once it matches the tone, that's a tense arm. That is when it releases. So it matches the tone. It is a quick enough adjustment that people, whether they've been here for years or not, they just tense up when they know something's coming, right? But that instrument was created with enough speed that it can beat the reaction time of the muscles of the body, which is an obstacle for sure, especially when we're trying to manually adjust somebody. And I mean, it's like a brick wall. This is a tool that can break through that and make the body feel safe again, which is such an honor to have that, honestly. So we have seen, even in the last 6 months, we have seen many kids with constipation issues, and we have seen many, many adults with constipation issues. So it's not like this foreign thing that only some people deal with. It really is way more widespread than is probably talked about, because many people don't necessarily talk about their bowel movement habits and patterns. So if this is resonating with you and you've been stuck on supplements and laxatives for any amount of time, actually, then you should definitely check out chiropractic care as the next step so that we can get your body functioning naturally on its own to provide you relief and less anxiety and get you out of that chronic stress state and get you back into the midline of where everyone should be at. Specifically with kids, we definitely see more of the hard bowel movements, like I mentioned, and then them not wanting to poop. And we've heard parents say with such relief that they're not straining to poop anymore, and they're no longer afraid to do it because it doesn't hurt anymore. Oh, as a mom, oh, thank goodness, because it's hard to see your kids in pain. Definitely more regular and consistent patterns. I mean, let's see, we had a child who is in first or second grade who was pooping once every 5 days. And parents thought a lot of that was because of the stress of school and trying to understand when the bathroom breaks are and whatnot. But they also just didn't want to go because it hurt. And, mom and dad weren't there at school with them when they had to go. And now this child has no problems going at school because it doesn't hurt anymore. It's amazing. And then we also have had adult patients who poop out kind of like the rabbit turd poops, and they don't feel relief from their poops. And we've had great stories of relief with the adult patients. Like they finally feel like they've emptied and they're not just kind of pushing little bunny turds out anymore, it's amazing what the body can do on its own when it's put into the environment to function the way that it should. So, one more time, Constipation is not what can I take to make myself go more. It's why is my body not working the way that it should? And chiropractic care should be step number one. So, if this hit home for any of you, whether it's for yourself or for your child or for somebody that you know, please call or text our number and we will get you started on a journey of less stress, more relief, and being able to come back into your own body. And it's going to be great. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.